Yeah. So good morning and welcome to today's session. Today, as you know, we will be talking about something which is dealing with emotions. And it's a new concept which has been brought in. I will not say it's a new concept, probably it's a new way. Yeah, same thing, new concept or new ways, the same thing, which is called emotional agility. However, it also helps us to live in an agile manner. But before that, we would be starting this session by expressing our gratitude to Mother Universe and to anyone and everyone to whom we are grateful for making us who we are. We will do it in silence and with reverence. Thank you. Just a small relaxation process, which I will be doing now. Just a minute. Good morning, Sneha ji.
Good morning. I was on that reel only.
Acha. Okay. Okay.
Then I got it something wrong. I'm doing okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I hope this music is audible. Music is audible. सुनाई दे रहा है म्यूजिक? Okay.
थोड़ा वॉइस कम कीजिएगा सर जी।
ठीक है? Is this okay?
Just little bit down.
Okay. Should I increase it? Okay. So before our session, we'll just relax our mind and body, just listening to the music. We'll do a hear out technique. Take a deep breath. Be aware of our entire body. Just see if there are any sensations, any feelings in any part of the body. Be aware of that. Do the hear out. Listen to the music as if there is something hidden in the music and be curious about the music. As you listen to the music, have gratitude to the universe. Relax your entire body. Just sit on your chair or wherever you are, whatever you are doing, and just be with the music. Take another deep breath. Wonderful. I'll now stop the music. Thank you. So good morning, Kakuli Madam. Good morning, Kunal. Kunal, nice to have you with us after a long time. We have been missing you in our Sunday sessions.
Good morning, sir. Thank you so much. How are you?
Good morning.
I am
Kunal
doing
bhai.
well,
Good
very
morning.
well.
Good morning, Deepak ji and everyone.
Yeah, I think a Sunday morning wish carries the effect throughout the week. So yes, okay. Okay, so today's topic is something living agile. I was thinking of how to name this topic because this topic is, I think, a very sensitive and a very important topic, a subject to be discussed. Now, how many times have you heard people of saying that I am stressed, I'm anxious, there is some emotion which is moving on in my mind? And have you ever thought what brings in that stress, what brings in that anxiety, and what do they do with it? What do they do with it? So before anything, I think I'll share this story. I'll share this story once again. So there were these two ships which were facing each other. So one of the ships was a grand ship, which was a battleship, and it wanted the other ship whose light was visible to move away as it would be going its own direction, did not want to change its direction. Right? And then it started giving message to the other one that please move, please move. Message came from the other side, we cannot move. You have to move your direction. So the captain of the battleship became very furious, and he said, who the hell are you speaking? The other person replied, the message came that I'm an engineer. And I'm sorry, you have to move your direction. So the commander, a egoistic person that he was, he said, how dare you say that? How dare you say that? I'm a battleship and I'm a captain of the ship. I'm the commander and I'm asking you to move. Please move. Message came back. Sorry, we cannot move. You have to move. The commander now got furious. The captain got furious. It shouted at the other guy and said, who the hell are you? Move. The reply came, I am the lighthouse. I can't move. You have to move. Right? Now we have directions. So the ship has directions from the lighthouse. The lighthouse can't move. It gives the direction to other ships to move. It gives signals to the other ships to move so that it can find its direction. Now in our life, also when we move, how many times that has happened that we have been rigid, that, we will not be moving. Someone else has to shift directions. I will not be doing this, or I will be doing this. I'll continue doing this. I will start doing this. How many times it has happened that we have been rigid, we have not been flexible? And how many times it has happened that we have been flexible? We have been flexible. We have moved directions to change the path, the journey, right? So I wanted to share this story because this story probably would give us some directions in the session also, like the lighthouse. How many times it has happened that we have some emotions and we just thought that this emotion is okay and we are not capable, or we are capable of doing this. Sometimes we speak to ourselves, right? Dialogues with ourselves. So when we say it's a dialogue, there are two peoples who are involved. And the most dialogue, if you see, happens with us, with ourselves. There are 16,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day that comes. 16,000 to 60,000 thoughts that comes. And just imagine what all thoughts came to our minds if we just sit down and think. We'll not be able to even gauge what all thoughts came, but there will be some thoughts which we will be able to recollect and imagine. Now, what affects these thoughts? What happens to these thoughts? Are we judgmental towards it? What happens? Living Agile, this session is all about that. All about that. But before that, I will be showing you something very interesting. And I would like you to respond to it. Right? I would like all of you to respond to it. So here is a picture. Right? You can all see this. I will just hold on. If you see this slide, Kiki Boba. So if you see this, which one do you think is Kiki and which one do you think is Boba? There is one of this is Kiki and one of this is Boba. Which is Kiki and which is Boba? Sanjay ji, Sneha, madam, Kakuli madam.
I think Kiki is the one which is the the edge.
This one?
Edge
This one is
wall.
the Kiki? Okay.
The one with the
that
edge
was
and the round one is
Yes.
Boba.
triangle.
Round one is Boba. Right?
Hmm.
Sanjay ji?
Yes, same. Star one Kiki
Huh.
and that another one, it's a boba.
That
Okay.
amoeba shape.
Yeah.
Is Boba. Okay. Great. Great. Fantastic. You see how a simple shape can shape our minds. How we can be judgmental about a small thing like this. Right? How we can be so judgmental about a small thing like this. Right? Yeah. So just imagine what happens, Deepak bhai.
Yes.
You just thought that because it has sharp edges. Sorry, my video is off. I'll just start it. Yeah. Just because it has sharp edges, it is Kiki, and because it is smooth edges, it is Boba. So a shape can determine our judgment. It just took a moment, right, Kunal? It just took a moment. Now
Yeah.
imagine there are so many things that we are judgmental about. So many things. It happens with everything.
Yeah.
And is it not fascinating? Is it not fascinating?
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes, it is.
Even if you hear a very soft sound, you will judgmental. I will be, not we, you, we become judgmental about it. If we see a person, we become judgmental about it. If we see the dress of a person, we make judgments because of the dress that that guy is wearing. Is it not? So
Yes.
does this reflect our agility or rigidity? And also I will explain what is the agility and rigidity. So before I get into that discussion, let me ask you, what do you mean by agility and what do you mean by rigidity? And what happened when you saw this picture?
So agility
Ag-
means less flexibility. Somebody like Hulk who could move less, and rigidity means that,
ah.
and the opposite is agility. Somebody is very flexible, like Captain America, who is
Like
very
Captain.
fast. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So let us just take one moment and think in our lives, generally, it is very generalization. Are we rigid? Are we agile? Are we flexible? Just let's take a moment and think and look at ourselves and find out whether we are rigid, we are agile most of the time. And let us also see that what does assumptions do to us. So it was unanimous, right? Unanimous that, Kiki and Boba, this is Kiki and this is Boba, just by looking at the edges, right? It pushes us to the edge also, right? It pushes us to the edge also. So living agile is something which has got to do with a term which you are all aware is hooked. We get hooked to our ideas. So when we see a child walking with his parent on the road, sometimes we judge the child also by looking at that child. It is an invitation for all of us to now just stop and just think whether it is worthwhile to be agile than to be rigid. So when we talk about emotions, how many times do we understand what emotions we are passing through? So there, if you make an emotional graph during the day, you will find that many times we represent or we carry a particular emotion. If it asks you, what is your signature emotion? How many of us will be able to say that this is our signature emotion? Most of the time, I remain happy. Most of the time, I remain stressed. Most of the time, I remain joyful, or most of the time, whatever it is. Sometimes we are not able to understand what emotions we are going through. And sometimes, while we understand what emotions we are going through, we want to move away from certain emotions. There are many self-help books, right? It says, be positive. Be positive. We have heard this since our childhood, right? So what is wrong about being negative? Is it wrong about being negative? My question to all of you is it wrong about being negative? We hear
No,
that be positive.
no. Sometimes it's okay to be negative.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Kakuli.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If I have to grieve, I will grieve. If I have to be angry. Now, is angry a negative emotion? Is grief a negative emotion? According to whom are these emotions negative? And what do we understand by be positive? So we will discuss this. So say, for example, I saw someone beating a dog just day before yesterday, and I got very angry. And I went and spoke to that guy and said, I contradicted him. I conflicted with him. I confronted him. Now, is this bad? I think it was absolutely right. Is that negative? When do we say that our emotions are negative? And what is this agility all about? Why are we talking so much about emotions? Why did Daniel Goleman bring out the topic? He did not bring it out, but he is supposed to be a researcher on that, and there are a lot of studies with him talk about emotional intelligence. So I open the floor now, right? And we can discuss about rigidity, we can discuss about agility. If anyone wants to share what is the emotion that he goes through or she goes through during the day, if we are aware What is that? And are we aware of it? And if you want to take some time, it's okay. But if you want to share, please do.
It depends upon the situation we go through.
But generally say a normal day. What is the
Flexible,
emotion?
more or less flexible for me.
Flexible.
Agile. That is agile. I'm agile.
Okay. Okay.
Generally, I am joyful.
Generally, you are joyful. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Generally, I'm anxious about, some things are there which need to be done, or if this happened, that need to be done, this need to be done. So that's the emotion I keep going
Okay.
through. While in the background, maybe it's okay, all right type.
So it's about work, right, Sanjay ji?
Yeah. Yes.
About work, the anxiety you carry. What happens on a Sunday? What happens on a Sunday?
Sunday is a little more, I feel relaxed.
Little relaxed, or are you relaxed? Or is it does it change from morning till evening?
It changes during the day. Towards
The day.
evening, you start feeling the week which is coming and what need to be done, planning for the week, and thinking about all this is what gets into. And that's, yes.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So what I made you now, just to be aware, till now, probably before I asked you this question, you knew what you were doing, but that awareness, complete awareness was not there. Now, what happens if we take control of our emotions? What happens if we are aware of our emotions? What happens? Say, for example, Debashish, or say, for example, me. So Debashish and me, when we talk to each other, there are certain topics that we talk to each other, right? When Debashish sits back at home, he thinks about certain things. Similarly, there is a pattern that he follows maybe on a Sunday or on a Saturday. For example, when I asked him, whether the Saturday would be a good day for a session, he would say that, it's a family day. So there is a pattern. Similarly, I have a pattern that Saturdays and Sundays are probably the busy days as far as my personal work is concerned. My studies are concerned. Deepak ji has got certain pattern for a Sunday. Kunal has got pattern for a Sunday. Similarly, all of us have a pattern for our emotions. If we are aware of the emotions, right? If we are aware of the emotions, it helps us to regulate. When can you regulate? You can regulate only when you are aware, right? So, how many of you it has happened that there was an emotion, maybe fear, maybe anger? I'm talking of emotions, not of very good emotions, but certain emotions which might disturb us. How many of us thought, let me get out of this emotion? How many of us? Deepak bhai.
Yeah. So many times I did it. I mean,
So many
while waiting in a queue, somebody
Hmm.
just jumped the queue and you get angry, and then then I just change my mind that okay, let it be, let him pass through. So I do change my emotion from anger to relax or a calm.
So what is the first step that you do?
I just take couple of breath.
Before that, what happens?
Or before that, I get literally aware about this is the anger, and then I just give myself a dialogue that calm down.
So when you give yourself a dialogue, what happens just before that?
I switch. Probably I
And
switch
before you
my
switch?
before I switch. Obviously, at that before I switch, there is a little anger in the mind that
There is.
I want to tell that guy that you can't just jump the queue. But
When you talk to yourself, Kunal,
yeah,
how can you talk to yourself? How do you talk to yourself?
Uh,
What do you tell yourself?
for making myself calm.
Yeah. So
Oh,
what
I
do you
just
tell
say,
yourself? Just tell us. Say, for example, I
ah,
am a part of you and you are telling me, what would you say?
I just say, hey, dude, calm down.
Hey,
Not worth
dude,
it.
calm down.
Yeah, not worth it.
Not worth it. So what happens actually is Kunal sees himself and tells himself. What is happening is he's stepping out from himself and talking to himself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now the third question is, what exactly makes you come out of that anger, and what makes you tell the other Kunal, hey, dude, calm down?
What makes me do that is because I need peace of mind. I don't want to get myself into
You
carry
need,
that anger.
correct, absolutely. And so when you say I need, how do you know you need this calmness?
How? How do I know? It's just simple.
Training probably.
I just need it. I just
You just
uh,
need it. So,
yeah.
so what is he actually saying? What is he actually saying? That's his belief, right? It's his belief, isn't it? So, say for example, let me take myself for an example, if you may allow me. So when there is something like this which happens, when I get angry, I just ask myself, what is the purpose that has brought me out? Is it for fighting, getting angry, or if I've come out just to enjoy myself? And it's okay if someone just jumps a queue, I'll tell him, I'll definitely be angry because he's doing something which is unjust. However, it is important for me to keep calm because I don't know this guy. And just after some seconds or minutes, we will part and I will never see him in my life. And so what's the point in disturbing myself? The belief which works is, is that it's okay sometimes to get angry and step out of it because calmness is important. That's the belief, right? My belief is to be calm. My belief is to have a peaceful time. And then what do I do?
And then I just carry on. I just
Absolutely, Kunal. You bang on. So I will just share with you 4 steps, right? 4 steps of handling a emotion which you think is not justified, or it will not do good to you. It will not do good to you. Sometimes too much happiness might not, I mean, if you're happy about something which is wrong, that might not be good for you. Sometimes the anger might be very good for you at that moment of time. Be positive is not the only solution of life. That is what is why I wanted to say. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to be angry because sometimes that brings out the best in us. That brings out the best in us. For example, when I was planning for this session, I was a little anxious. How would I plan it? And then I saw this image of Kiki and Boba. And believe me, my answer was also Kiki, the sharp edges. And I just realized how judgmental we are. Looking at someone, we name them also. I never knew who this guy Kiki is. I knew just because the smooth edges and the sharp edges, we named them and we justified their names. So, first thing is to live agile, as Kunal mentioned, agility means flexibility. Agility means to be aware of what is happening, and agility means to be able to move on. Have we ever said this is not right to ourselves? Have we ever said that this is the right thing to do? Have we ever told ourselves, I cannot do it? What do you think shapes us? What do you think shapes that? And once we say, sometimes it has happened to me, if I say it is not right for me, I stepped out of it, even without checking whether it's right or wrong, whether I can do it or not. And it does not. And what has made this up? Nature and nurture. But before that, let me share this with Kunal and with all of you. I do not know whether the screen is being seen. Okay. Yeah. So these are the 4 steps of gaining emotional agility and not getting hooked. So getting hooked means getting stuck with something, with a belief, with a thought, like Kiki and Boba. Sharp edges might also be Boba. Smooth edges might also be Kiki. The first thing is so when Kunal got angry, first thing that he did was becoming aware, showed up. The second thing was he talked to himself and said, hey dude, calm down. He stepped out, saw himself getting angry, said, hey dude, calm down. Third is he walked on the belief that there is no point. I mean, I should be calming down because that helps me. In this situation, there is no point of being angry. I can be assertive. So his awareness about that anger led him to step out, talk to him. And what made him step out and talk to him in that manner was his belief. And remember what Kunal said, just go ahead, which is moving on. While in the future sessions, I will talk more about what are the inner dialogues that happens, what are the unresourceful inner dialogues that happened. But this is what is emotional agility. Anytime that we have a particular emotion which we think is unresourceful, we just be aware of it. We know whether it's resourceful and unresourceful. When do we know it? It's very important, my friends. Now listen to this. This is very important. When you are emotionally taken over, our thinking process stops. To be aware means to be conscious. At a subconscious level, when we are angry, to become aware means we are conscious, and that's when our thinking brain takes over. The best way we had learned in our earlier sessions, between the stimulus and the response, what needs to be there? Can someone just suggest? Snehaji, between the stimulus that triggers the response and before we respond, what needs to be there? So that our emotional takeover steps back and our thinking takes over. Conscious mind takes over.
It's the thinking only.
Pause.
Pause. Absolutely. It's a
Pause.
thinking. Yes, it's the pause. Just step back. Agile people pause to be aware. Say, for example, when Kakuli madam responded to me, if you see what Kakuli madam did, she looked up. She looked up. She did not answer immediately, which means she paused, she thought, she answered. So while we are aware of this, but if we follow this process, then what would happen is we will be more aware of ourselves. Just an experimentation. Just an experimentation. If during the day, maybe today you can do it. Maybe now you can just write 8:30, 8:40, what is your emotion? Maybe at 10 o'clock, you can just write down what your emotion is. And keep an alarm for 12 o'clock, write down what your emotion is. Maybe at 4 o'clock, because 12 to 4, you will sleep today. It's a Sunday, maybe. 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, you write what your emotion is. 7 o'clock, write what your emotion is. And if you see the emotion, track the emotion, you will see that there is a pattern to it. So when Sanjay ji said that his Sundays are actually very relieving, he gets a lot of rest and he is calm. In the evening, he starts thinking about the Monday job that he has to do. Right? And come Monday, there is a different emotion which is there. If we are aware of these emotions, we can step back, look into it, talk about it, walk the why, move on. Isn't it beautiful? I will show you a small snippet from Tare Zameen Par, and let us see what happened. Yes, Kakuli madam. You are mute. You are on mute.
What is this walk the wild? Just elaborate a bit.
Which
I
one?
didn't get walk the wild.
Oh, walk the why means what is the belief that makes you aware and step out. So when Kunal got angry and he told himself, hey dude, calm down, there is a belief that is working, right? That it's no point in being angry over here. As I told you, when I got angry, I just thought to myself, what is the use? I'll never meet this person. So my belief is I will probably respond or react to a person who matters to me. This guy doesn't even matter. He's just breaking the queue, coming in forward. मैं अगर गुस्सा करके दीपक भाई को कुछ बोलूं तब ना एक there is a reason to it, and Deepak bhai will say हाँ अरे पार्थो दा ऐसा है, पार्थ, he will also say something because we both matter to each other. So that day I sent a message to Kunal. Kunal, we are missing you. आप आओ, बात करते हैं. It's not about anything else. It is about the camaraderie, right? It is about the companionship. When we see each other and see how beautifully we are talking on a Sunday morning, something important which is contributing. We are each of us are contributing. So that's the belief, right? That's the belief. That's the walking the why. So I will just share this and see if this makes sense for us as far as emotional agility is concerned. I will stop the other things. Let me just see which one I'm sharing. So how many of you have seen Tare Zameen Par?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of it.
Okay, now let's see this. This is a heart melting scene. Okay, I'll.
The father's
No.
conversation with the father.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just see this.
बैठिए. सॉरी, जगह जरा कम है. यहाँ कैसे?
फैक्ट्री के काम से आया था.
ईशान से मिले?
नहीं, अभी नहीं, मिलूंगा. पहले आपसे कुछ बात करनी थी.
कही?
मेरी वाइफ काफी दिनों से इंटरनेट सर्फिंग कर रही है. डिसलेक्सिया पे छपी सारी जानकारी उसने पढ़ डाली है. आपको बताना था.
क्यों? मुझे क्यों बताना था?
नहीं, कहीं आप ये सोच के ना बैठे हो कि हम उन लोगों में से हैं जो अपने बच्चों का ख्याल नहीं करते.
ख्याल करना बहुत जरूरी है मिस्टर अवस्थी. इसमें इलाज की शक्ति है. एक मरहम है जिससे दर्द मिटता है. बच्चे को तसल्ली हो जाती है कि उसका कोई ख्याल करता है. एक आध झप्पी, प्यार भरी पप्पी, ये दिखाने को कि मैं ख्याल करता हूं. बेटा, मैं तुमसे प्यार करता हूं. अगर कोई फिक्र हो तो मेरे पास आओ. क्या हुआ जो तुम फिसले? गलती हुई, मैं हूं ना. ये दिलासा. ख्याल करना. ख्याल करना इसी को कहते हैं ना मिस्टर अवस्थी. मुझे खुशी हुई ये सुनकर कि आपको लगता है कि आप ख्याल करते हैं.
मैं चलता हूँ।
मिस्टर अवस्थी, आपकी वाइफ ने सोलोमन आइलैंड्स के बारे में कुछ पढ़ा इंटरनेट पर?
पता नहीं, मुझे नहीं पता।
सोलोमन आइलैंड्स में जब आदिवासियों को जंगल का कोई हिस्सा साफ करना होता है खेती के लिए, तो वो पेड़ दरख्तों को काटते नहीं है, महज उस पेड़ के पास सारे पहुंच जाते हैं और जी भर के गालियां देते हैं, कोसते हैं। देखते ही देखते कुछ ही दिनों में पेड़ मुरझा जाता है, अपने आप ही मर जाता है।
Teachers and students at amphitheatre, amphitheatre, amphitheatre.
आप म्यूट पे हो पार्था जी।
You
So if you see this scene, what comes to your mind? हमने इतने बार देखे हैं सीन को, राइट? इतने बार देखे हैं, फिर से देखेंगे शायद। We'll again watch it. What comes to the mind?
इसमें केयर कैसे करते हैं, एक्चुअली में केयर क्या है वो उसने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से उसके बाप को समझाया और उसी वक्त उसको रियलाइज भी हुआ कि एक्चुअल में केयर करना क्या होता है। जस्ट सेइंग द वर्ड तुम फिसले तो क्यों फिसले और मैं हूं ना, these two words are very very important than anything else.
that introspection is so important. Just look behind, really what I went wrong, where I went wrong, and then what is the correct way or correct path. More important.
So this is a, a very nice scene to explain the transition from rigidity to agility, right? Rigidity to agility. So he was rigid. That dyslexia ke liye, my wife has studied about dyslexia. That is the reason. That means that she is caring for the child. But the meaning of caring was something else for the teacher. Caring for the teacher had a different meaning. Caring. So the mother and the father, rather, father wanted to come and prove that they are caring. And the teacher here was actually caring. And when the father realized that, when he saw his son reading it, he saw with what pain his son is reading the lines. And that realization, that belief changed in him. Here, probably another scene would be the director could have thought that the father moving towards the child, patting him, right? That could be another ending. I don't know. Here, the father went away. The father went away towards thinking, probably thinking, what am I doing? And what injustice have I done to the child? So this rigidity to agility, this scene actually shows a transition. That's why I thought of showing this to you. Now, as a precursor to the next session. As a precursor to the next session, like How of Happiness, we did about 5 episodes, 5, right? And we talked about who are we really, our personalities. This will also have something. So I will just share with you one more part before we end. So how do we form what rigidity is, what agility is? When we think of something, how do we think? Say, for example, let me take a positive picture now. Say, for example, you are going on a holiday. We feel happy when we go for a holiday, right? So how do we feel happy? What is the process of feeling happy?
Thinking about what all we're gonna do and how all we're gonna involve in the activity, and whether we are going at a beach or a to see the mountain. That visual also comes, and then in the evening, what all we're gonna have for dinner. So those kind of planning and visualizing those things with the family or friends, that makes us happy.
Awesome. Awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah, the first thing that makes us happy is that, to get away from the routine. Right. So, I mean, the feeling that, finally, last 6 months of doing every day the same thing, now we are going to have some change for some time. And then, of course, it follows by what Kunal said.
Very nice. Very nice. So there's a process in which
Excitement also.
excitement. तो एक्साइटमेंट के पहले क्या होता है स्नेहा जी? क्या क्या एक्साइट करते हैं आपको?
Planning, some thinking,
right.
different different mood, different that planning. So that excitement.
Yes, yes, very correct, very correct. So संजय जी, अभी वो NLP का एक दूसरा टाइप अभी हम दिखाएंगे. I will show something which you will probably recollect of NLP, the way NLP submodalities. But this is very, very nice way of putting across. I'll just share with you. So this is what happens. 1 second, let me put it on slideshow. How do we get hooked to something? Now, hooked does not mean only negative or positive things. Hooked means hooked, hooked to an idea, hooked to happiness, hooked to sadness. So first of all, we talk about it, right? That we are going on a holiday, internal chatterbox. Second is we give color to it, technicolor thought blinding, which Kunal just mentioned, visuals. We also hear something. So when Debashis talks about that going away from this routine, he just talks to himself, oh my God, now I will be away from this routine things. And there is a visual which comes. The visual can come in that he's away from this routine job, and the visual can come in that he's going for a change. So there is a technicolor thought blending. Finally, what comes in is there is an emotional punch to it. Right? There is an emotional punch to it. The order might change. The order might, you just feel, oh, I'm going. And then you start thinking. And you then start talking. Deepak bhai might say, अरे दीपक चल अभी सतारा से निकलते हैं अभी घूमने जा रहा है अभी. So there is a chatterbox, and he writes in the Facebook what all he has seen. So what happens? He shares with all others. He gives visual to it. I went there, I went here, I did this, I'm doing this, I will be doing this, pictures. So we don't only click pictures with the camera, we also click pictures in our mind. We also have a recording player in our mind. We play the record. Even before it happens, we play it. We find that we are moving around. And doing that, there is an emotional punch. So why did I say that this is a precursor? Because in the next session, we will understand what happens, what are the chatters that we have. And since we are talking of getting hooked, what do we get hooked to? What hooks us? And if we are aware that we are hooked, will it be possible for us to unhook ourselves? will it be possible for us to be the father of that child who was suffering from dyslexia, who realized that knowing about dyslexia is not enough? Understanding the child is what is important. And now if I tell you that the father and the child sometimes are within us. We are the father, we are the child. We punish ourselves. We reward ourselves. We talk to ourselves. Just as if we are a student and someone else is a teacher. So Sneha ji, she's a principal of a school. But she sometimes might be principal of her own self also. She might be telling something to herself in the same tone, same voice, with the same love, same anger that she speaks to her students, to her co-teachers. Yes, Deepak bhai. Right, Sneha ji?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Deepak bhai.
Partha, is it important first to catch the emotion or first catch the thought of the mind before जब एक इंसिडेंस घटता है तो इंसिडेंस घट सपोज कुणाल said that person cut the line. Catching the thought is more important before acting something.
Yeah, to be aware of what the emotion is. And Deepak bhai,
Yeah.
emotion, even before thought, emotion comes in the body.
Oh, okay.
So you will see, you are getting angry. Before that, there is some kind of palpitation which is going on. Something is, and then you will be aware.
Yeah.
So sometimes the feeling also can bring out, right? So we can practice this. We can be aware of this in the next 7 days.
Okay.
What happens to us? So this emotion graph can help us. It is not necessary we journal, or we can journal also. I've never journaled, so I will not be understanding its importance. So those who you have, you can share the benefits in the next session. But what I'm saying is, this awareness about anything, the chatterbox, 16 to 60,000 thoughts per day comes to us. Now, which thought we get hooked to, we can be aware only if we go back and or be aware of it.
Yeah.
Which thought we are hooked to. So we will end here. Just some kind of anything that you would like to mention about today's session or talk about it. Did it help you?
It's a really eye-opening revision session for me. Just I want to share a little bit story I heard from someone. Can I?
Of course, please, sir.
Like मदर और उसकी डॉटर मॉल से जा रहे थे, कुछ खरीदी कर रहे थे, तो फिर that child thought that I should help my mother, so that she started picking the things which were not required. So that when mother got angry, so don't do, not exactly angry, but just she registered to her child, don't do this one. वो बच्ची को सहन नहीं हुआ, वो जमीन पे गिड़गिड़ाने लगी. She got angry like that. All the big chaos within that mall happened. One thing happened, लोग जमा हुए ना, तो लोग जमा होने के बाद what that lady was saying, cool Jennifer, cool Jennifer, cool. Okay. So one of the persons from the crowd said, अरे क्या कर रही है आप, एक झापड़ दे दो उसको, तो अपने आप ठिकाने आ जाएगी. So what that lady replied to that gentleman, oh sorry young man, it's my name, I'm saying cool Jennifer to myself, it's my name. So this is the story. So exactly the same Kunal said that. Cool Kunal. Yes. Oh, what happened?
And you can only do that when you step out.
when you step out. When you step out.
Stepping out is very important. Sanjay ji, anything that you remember, disassociation, submodalities? I don't know whether you remember or not, recollect or not. But yes, they are all a part of our life. And we will talk about this 16,000 to 60,000 thoughts, what all come. In the next session, next Sunday, we will discuss about it.
Yeah, I recollect this
एक दफा आपने
submodalities.
बताया था
Yes.
ये thought के बारे में. Oh, sorry.
Yes, yes. So great. So thank you very much.
Great.
Kunal, be there. आओ भाई संडे को
Yeah, sure.
गप
Thank
करते हैं,
you.
right?
हाँ,
Okay,
हाँ,
Sneha ji,
sure.
thank you Devashish, thank you Kakuli madam, thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you Sanjay ji.
Have a nice
Thank
day, all of
you.
you. Bye bye.
Have a
Great
nice day
week.
all.
And follow the mind gym. There will be something more exciting, more interesting will be coming in the mind gyms. New ways, new techniques of meditation, right? See you. Bye.
See you. Bye. Have a nice